Today I'd like to help you with your application problems for your 6 trigonometric functions with a couple different word problems, right? So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and work on one that'll use this diagram. So the diagram's up here. I'm gonna go ahead and read the prompt out loud. A company safety committee has recommended that a floodlight be mounted in the parking lot so as to illuminate the employee exit. So in this case, right, floodlight, here we have the height of that. We also have the employee exit, and we're looking to see if we can get this floodlight to cast onto the employee exit, so it's safer when the employees leave the building. Now it's asking for us to find the angle of depression, so once this angle up here, of the light to the nearest minute. So once the angle of the depression to the nearest minute of that floodlight. So that's what we're trying to find. Now, what's interesting about this is the way that our problem is actually set up. You'll see our angle of elevation and our angle of depression are alternate interior angles. This means they're congruent. So if I find my angle of elevation, I'll also find my angle of depression at the same time. So in this situation, what I want to go ahead and do is identify what pieces of this triangle I already have. So one of the first things that I'm noticing is that I have the opposite of my angle, but I also have the adjacent side length of my angle. So what I'm going to go ahead and do in this situation is try and figure out what trig function to use in order to help me solve this problem. Hopefully with opposite divided by the adjacent, you're thinking of tangent right away. So tangent of theta is equal to opposite divided by the adjacent. So it is the ratio of those two side lengths. So first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is take tangent of theta, which I do not know, and I'm going to put this to the ratio that I have. So I'm going to have my 39 and 51 hundredths divided by 51 and 65 hundredths. Now remember, those are both feet in our estimate here. Now, in order to be able to find tangent, though, I need to be able to have the arctangent or the inverse tangent being used. So I'm going to take I'm going to take theta on one side, and I'm going to take my tangent inverse of my ratio, 39 51 hundredths divided by 51 and 65 hundredths. Now, in this case, I can place this into my calculator. Every calculator should have, at least Graphing or Scientific, should have a arctangent or tangent inverse button or key for you to use. Once you do that, you're going to end up with a value. That value is going to be 37.41441408 degrees. Now, in this case, I was told from the prompt to find the angle of depression, which is congruent to the angle of elevation, to the nearest minute. Right now, I just have the degree measure. So if they were only asking for a degree measure, I would be done. But because they want this to the nearest minute, I now need to figure out what that's going to be. Now, I know that I'm going to keep my 37 degrees, so that's going to stay the same. But I need to take this decimal amount here, and I need to multiply it by 60 in my calculator. So go ahead and take a moment to do that. Once you've done that, you should end up with 24 and 8.648 minutes. Now the prompt asked for us to go ahead and have to the nearest minute. Right now I'm not to the nearest minute. I have a little extra decimal action happening here. So what I need to do is round to the nearest minute. In other words, I'm going to need to round to this decimal place. So I'm going to look right next door and determine if I need to round up or down. Based on the fact that we have the value of 8, I'm going to go ahead and round up. So my answer for theta, which will be my angle of depression and my angle of elevation, thanks to alternate interior angles, is going to end up being 37 degrees and 25 minutes. I hope you found this video helpful in working with application problems for your 6 trigonometric functions.